Hey, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel. Hopefully Bitchute. I can't get things to upload up there properly just yet. Been having a few troubles the last few days with that. So Bitchute normally at True Divine 44, also Facebook True Divine 44 and the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. These are my daily energy with tarot readings to help you navigate your day, guide you around the energies you might feel within you, around you, and within others. Take what resonates as it is general and leave what does not. I appreciate any feedback in the comments. The dialogue there is beautiful. You guys are beautiful. And I really do adore hearing about how you are doing on your journey, on your day, and how you're navigating those energies or what you're noticing. Just open up that dialogue and get to know one another, and I love to get to know you guys more. So this is for the 5th of March 2021. It's fun, isn't it? Even when we look back at painful times in our lives, you know, there's certain aspects about it. Sometimes even the most painful things we can laugh at. And even if it's not the most painful things that we can laugh at, it is some of the decisions we did that led us there. So, you know, whatever it is, it's for sure one big old experience, for better or worse. So we've got the Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the first deck. So you see he's juggling. You can see the infinity sign going around here. I like it because it's like ribbons on this one. And I see ribbons of energy. And so is juggling and is in an infinite loop. Now, we're moving in an infinite loop the whole time, you know, and we're going between the balance of this infinite loop with the balance within of the divine feminine, divine masculine. Then we're going in the balance of our spirit cells and physical cells. And then we're going in the balance of maybe in this case, the Two of Pentacles, two aspects of material reality, two aspects of our material world that we feel it necessary to juggle. So a lot of you are really juggling, like myself right now, with work and with children, finding enough to entertain them as well as have time to work. And juggling that aspect of being a parent, but also being a parent. But there's the parent who needs to be engaged with the child. That is one aspect of the material world. And then there's the parent who needs to put food on the table for said child or children. And that is the other aspect. So it's this continuous juggle as a parent. So that's just for example. But in this case, it feels like, regardless of whether it's children, it's people. And these represent parts of our material reality. They're in material bodies. They're in the material reality. They're tangible. And there's this juggling for a lot of you going on right now, whether that is because certain parts of the family or friendship groups are finding it difficult to meet in the middle with all of the division and disagreement type energy that is being pumped into the collective each and every day, or whether that is within a partnership and it's more intimate still, that there's this juggling aspect. Things aren't quite meeting in the middle. The juggling of two realities, either work life and partner, and those two not marrying up properly, not being able to even them out, balance them out together. Now that's okay for a time. We can juggle. We have to juggle many aspects of life. Is it healthy to continue doing so for any length of time in this energy? No, because instead of us just being an experience in this infinite loop, we are actually losing out on experience by juggling maybe something that we need to ditch, or something that we need to find a way around, i.e. find a way about working smarter, not harder, or something along those lines. So there's that underpinning energy, which is a real struggle. And on the bottom of the other deck, we've got the Lovers card. So this is a major arcana, and you can see there's the angelic-like being on the top, the sun above that, and the divine feminine, divine masculine energies, beings on either side. This is a major decisions card, major decisions, and for a lot of you, it does involve the matters of partnership and how you go forward with that. It could be business partnership with that Two of Pentacles, but it feels like plans that maybe should have been brilliant, should have been nothing but exciting. Everybody should have, you felt in your mind that everybody should have been happy, elated and proud. Those, they're not balancing out as you thought. And so the circumstances and therefore the juggling that has ensued after that has led to a decision time being made. We've got the Six of Cups underneath this Lovers card, which I wouldn't usually do, but the 6 and the 6 together. So there's past emotional connections, which has maybe stopped you from making major decisions that need to be made in your life regarding what you need to take forward, or what you need to dramatically change, and what you need to change for the good, and in a big way. So it feels like, as I'm reading, a difficult decision. Some of you who are making decisions in the business realm, be careful. Be careful not to be led by anybody else's intuition, only be led by your own. Take advice, take guidance, but for sure use your own discernment and your own intuition to make the final decision, and take some time, for sure. But it feels more intimate than that. It feels more partnership, marriage, very close friendship. So it's a difficult one when anybody's making decisions to lift the veil from their eyes and see that things aren't working, and take the steps to make those decisions, to make things final. It's of course a big strain, and again, it might be that you're juggling children within this equation, in that you are sort of decided upon the way forward, as in separation, or but at the same time, both of you or one of you are juggling the needs of the child also, and trying to balance that out too. The one thing I can say regarding children, age appropriate, of course, is honesty is always best. But at the same time, there is a timing aspect to this. Are you going to be honest about something like this? If it resonates with you, if you are maybe stuck living together still for 3 months or 6 months or whatever it might be because of what is going on, are you going to have it looming over the child that way? So again, use your discernment. You know your child, you know your child's age. I don't know what that rabbit's doing. And you know, you don't want it like a guillotine above their head, you know, waiting and waiting and waiting for this moment that they're now expecting. So, you know, use your discernment in that. But there's certain emotional ties that have kept you in a place that isn't really matching up to what you want to do in the material world, to how you want your path to go forward, where you want your path to go forward, how you want it to look. And so it is a huge decision. Now, the key and the wisdom in this Lovers card is to do it from a balanced place, to do it from an aspect of both your divine masculine and your divine feminine, to be able to get a smoother transition into the decision making and the result that will occur after that, which is difficult because I'm feeling lost for words. So whoever this resonates with, you've got so much to say, but how do you word it? There's so much wrapped into this, so many years, so many experiences, so many memories. How do you wrap it up into words to convey? Write it down. It doesn't have to be for anybody else. You can just be for you to process your thoughts. They can be scrambled, but once you read over them again, you start to absorb what you're trying to say, and maybe you'll write it again and be a bit clearer that time. And by the time you come to speak it, you are au fait with your own thoughts. You're au fait with your own thoughts being outside of your mind, because whoever this resonates with, it feels like you've been keeping a lot to yourself behind the eyes. You know, you haven't been speaking it out quite as honestly as maybe you should have been or could have been. You've been in avoidance of this. So get over the oddity of you actually releasing it outside of self in your own private space first, by writing it down in your own private time first. That sort of gets you over the initial hurdle of those very hidden private thoughts being outside of your skin. It makes it an easier transition from there to then go into discussing it out loud with somebody else, especially if this is somebody else that you're juggling, you care about still, but you care about them enough that you want to do the right thing, and honesty would be the right thing. So the first card is the Three of Swords. And this is where I'm struggling for words a bit, because the Three of Swords is nothing but painful energy. It is three swords going straight through the heart. We all know what heartache feels like. It sometimes can feel like somebody is reaching into your chest and they're going to rip your heart out, or they're squeezing your heart. It feels that way. And that's the most beautiful thing about love, and it is the most terrifying thing about love, or being involved in supposed love with the wrong person. Because if they don't love you the same way, they can hold your heart in their hands for a time until you transmute yourself out of that energy, and they can squeeze. And so that squeeze is palpable, it's real. It's where the emotions are met full force in physical reality, physical manifestation. You could clutch your chest physically because the physical pain is there. And that happens dualistically in the bliss moments of love also. But this has been something that's been coming for quite some time. So it feels like the decision is being made that things just aren't progressing as you feel they should, or as they should in general. So you go from the 6 with the major arcana down to the 3. Yes, it's very painful. Yes, it's very palpable. It's very difficult to deal with. But actually, would you have made the decision for yourself and everybody else involved to follow your path and follow what you are destined to do, and give others the opportunity to what they're destined to do, to release others from this that isn't working either? You know, would you have done this? Would you have started looking at this 6 without there being this 3 here first? I think it's been something that's been put off and juggled for so long now that maybe not. Maybe even fooled yourself that you could do this path but you still pursued the path that you wanted to pursue to an extent, because you've got the 2 of Pentacles. So who's to blame? It doesn't matter. It just matters that you are where you are, and this is where you transmute the energies, and you transmute your energies, your pain, your physical manifestation and palpable energy of that pain, and you make your decisions upon that, not from the place of pain, but recognizing where the wrong decisions have led to, and how much more pain it will cause to keep putting them off any longer. as far as clarifying cards, we've got the Page of Wands. So one, I think for a lot of you, if you resonate with this, children are involved, which is always difficult. It is. The children that are involved with the situations that I'm picking up on are very resilient and actually very empathetic, very absorbent of energies. And so putting them in a place where intuitively they're picking up on something that, you know, isn't comfortable or isn't quite stable, that's actually more damaging in the long run than having two separate but very strong households for them to be absolutely comfortable in. And it is the Page of Wands. This is a very beautiful, charming, compassionate, young, bouncy energy that is mutable. It dances and it's not fixed, it flows. So when things are in the right flow, in the right direction, this Page of Wands has no problem flowing with them, has no problem, you know, being mutable with them. So that's not to say it's going to be easy, but it's going to be a lot easier for them than you think. As far as the people that resonate with this reading, particularly, it feels like unions were made when you were really quite young. Family sort of values of your extended family, your mum and dad, your brothers and sisters sort of hold dear to the fact of long-term partnership being long-term partnership, forever partnership, or marriage being forever marriage kind of thing. So there's a lot of conditioning from the past into what you felt you needed to keep juggling with a situation that wasn't quite resonating with you. And that's not anybody else's fault. There's no blame game here. It's just something that you need to transmute from and not be letting that affect your path and your decisions forward. It also feels like there is this emotional connection that is very deep and very loving and comes from a place where you first met, and comes from a place that, you know, very much so you weren't juggling, you were both full force together, balanced, coming together for it, for the relationship. But people grow, people outgrow one another, people go in different directions, people grow differently, some people don't grow and they devolve. And so there's this point now where neither side, better or worse, just the fact that a lot of stuff's been said, a lot of things have happened now, and it shows that you've expanded outside of this part of your experience, and it needs to look very different. So there is love there, but the love that has sort of kept this situation juggling, you know, maintaining but juggling, is the fact that, you know, there's these very strong emotional love connections, but it's the people that you fell in love with when you first met, for both sides. And those people, to a certain extent, still exist, but to a big extent don't exist anymore. Because again, people grow, people, you know, evolve into their lives, they blossom into their lives and the paths that they take, the experiences that they have. So yeah, I didn't think this would be as much about love connection. It's not always the norm for me, but it is what it is, and this is the message. So the Four of Wands comes in, but it comes in reverse. And so this is the home card, the happy home card in the upright, but in the reverse, you know, the balance, the two wands at either side. In reverse, this is a very unstable, unhappy home, maybe already living in separate homes. This is where things are completely out of whack now. And even whatever plans that keep being made to try and juggle this back together, to try and maintain this and keep, you know, the plates spinning, it's just not happening. It's an unequal yoke now. There's either got to be real forgiveness of self on either side, and also a huge amount of honesty in order to make decisions, to make this not be a juggling match and put this in the upright. But to be quite frank, I'm not feeling that either side would be fully on board with that. It feels like one wants to have something held over the other, even though they say they don't. It keeps coming up with this Three of Swords, that, you know, holding past the blame game, holding past mistakes or past screw ups, you know, over the other, which is unequal. So this being in reverse is not comfortable. This is where children come in. To not make the decision to go forward and be stable in two separate places with that Two of Pentacles, and try and keep juggling into the same place that keeps getting overturned, turned upside down, smashing of vases and things like that. You know, it's not easy on yourself, on your own inner child, and on any children involved. So to clarify this Four of Wands, believe it or not, we've got the Four of Swords. And so this speaks to, there needs to be honesty with self, and that comes through true connection to self. And actually, just as seriously as you would take an exercise regime, just as regularly as you would do if you're a walker, your regular walk, using that time to really dig down deep and be honest with yourself. Go into meditation as to what you want your life to look like, not even involving others, because you can't control what they want their life to look like. You want to know what your life feels like when you have your best feeling about your life, what you want to get excited about, what work things do you love the opportunity to even have a go at, let alone do. All of these things need to be looked at real honestly before you can even make a quantifiable decision as to how you go forward. But it needs to happen quite quick, because this pain keeps going away, but it's just juggled away for a little bit, and then it keeps coming back up again. And, you know, that's a horrible Groundhog Day to be in. And so the Seven of Pentacles comes up. Now, this is another thing that has seemingly been a bit of an excuse, I've got to be truthful, as to why certain parties within this situation haven't made the major decisions to separate or really change things up. One is reliant on the other financially in some cases. Two, in other cases, it is a case of the provider is unhappy about maybe the task it would be to pay, you know, on top of living expenses in a separate place. All of these things coming into consideration. Not give it justice also, as there's also the fact that, you know, it feels like this is a lot of years worth of things that have been worked on hard, things that have been built up, and it's taken time to build up and work hard on. And so it's difficult, but this is where, you know, we've got to maybe try and practice what we preach, as to, are we so attached to the material that we'll starve the spirit and starve the heart and starve the fire, and even the mental aspects of self from our experience, our full experience? Are we so attached to the things that we've built up? Because actually, it's dangerous to do that. It just takes to look at current circumstances to know that if they decide, they'll take that away anyway. And you might be, you know, in a position where you can't follow a path that you knew you should have followed, but you didn't out of fear of the attachments to the material and everything that is wrapped up in this little bubble that is sort of popping right now. So we've got the High Priestess, another major arcana, number 2, to clarify. So we've gone from the 2 of Pentacles to the 2 with the major arcana, the High Priestess. This is where the hidden lies. There are hidden truths on both sides. There's not enough honesty here, that actually there are hidden material connections that are that have been the major avoidance for not making the decisions to truly expand on the next experience, however that looks. There's maybe some secrecy here as to even sabotage in some people's cases, making things deliberately awkward, especially when it's regarding work, making things deliberately, I don't know, late or delayed or dragged out, especially when it involves moving the material, work, you know, embarrassing you in front of colleagues. There's certain things that have been hidden that have actually been more of a resentment. There feels like there's an underlying resentment here going on. So it's a really complicated situation, as are most relationships, whether they are perfectly good or whether they are perfectly broken. There's a lot of complications and layers to it. But it does feel like there's some real active sabotage or secrecy in some people's cases. You'll know for sure. Be honest with yourself if I'm speaking about you. You can't just go accusing people willy-nilly of doing so. If this is the first time you've even thought of that, that's not even fair. That's emotionally abusive, because you'll know, your intuition will have already been telling you, and I'm confirming it, if this is the case for you in particular. So you know what you need to do. You've just been avoiding it, and you've been avoiding it for the longest time, and it's becoming more and more painful. And I've got to say, the more that this is avoided, the more that is at stake, especially in the material, the job, the house, location, the cars, whatever it is, including the people, the children. There's more and more at stake. There's more and more to lose the longer that this continues. I want you, if you're going through this heartache, even if it doesn't resonate with the rest of the reading, but you really do feel that 3 of Swords energy, I want you to just close your eyes, breathe deeply, and really visualize your heart space. Visualize prying fingers from around your heart, taking that squeeze off and just pushing it away out of your chest. Because no matter how angry anybody is with anybody, there's no need to cause that kind of pain. Now, if it's your own hand and you're being self-punishing rather than just making the decisions that you know you've got to make, you need to do the same thing. Visualize your hand and pry each finger off and just push it away. No consent to that. You can feel the pain just well and transmute that pain just well without that physical feeling as though you're going to have a heart attack. Whoever I'm speaking to right now, that is resonating with. I'm with you right now as I speak, releasing that squeeze on your heart, because nobody has the right, no reason really, when they're being honest with themselves, to do that to anybody. There's enough pain to feel here. There's enough material to work with in order to transmute and release from these wounds and grow from them without that physical holding, feeling, squeezing of the heart. the heart in somebody's hands. It's a difficult one for sure, it is, and I don't envy the people or the person that is going through it. Difficult for sure. Let me know what I need to tell people, because that seemed like another real personal reading. Let me know what I need to tell people regarding the collective stage. Okay. Okay, Seven of Cups in reverse. Plans are going full force. Look out for plans regarding more news on the grapevine about actually Russia making certain deals with Israel, making more deals with Israel. You know, that the poor people in the middle of Syria, you know, they've got these different countries using their ground as a, you know, and that was totally set up, you know, by BBC and Reuters. Go to my Writing on the Wall video about that. And so they've got this, and so I do feel that there's some instead of, you know, Russia being on the, like I said a while ago, being on the outskirts, waiting to see who they'd back. He's a very strategic man, let's face it. There's certain deals I feel have gone down, certain projects that have been discussed and agreed upon going forward, particularly to do with you know, not the super soldier in particular, but that type of thing, you know, that type of, what would I say, experimentation, implementation of portals, of souls, of things of that nature that sound way out there, and believe you me, they are not. So there's certain deals gone down there, I feel, already behind the scenes with Russia and Israel. So look out for that. I feel, unfortunately, that there's certain plans that there may be, and I hope not, there may be a certain warning shot within the land of America, and maybe not too far out, you know, certain parts of Europe, including the UK, that might have well indeed come from Iran's hands. You know, they've been accused enough. Now they're being backed into a corner to think, okay, you know, let's fire a few warning shots. There's plenty, what do you call them, sleeper cells around. And that's not to say just Iran's doing that. We know that Israel is within America and the UK and many other places, let's face it. And we know, let's face it, that Russia is too. And we know that America is and the UK is. So as far as governments go, they're all as bad as each other, but it is us, the people, that have to put up with the ramifications of such dangerous games. So we see that there's a certain call to justice with these plans taking place today. There's a certain, even maybe it could come about that there is a certain call out for justice by a certain official, maybe from two separate places actually, regarding two separate things. One, Africa, and two, Syria, but maybe Iran also, but mainly Africa and Syria. Now, there's something ramped up today as far as projects going regarding Iraq also. Oh, how the mother weeps. We've got this star card energy, people, and this is about healing and hope and transmutation and cleansing of old wounds. Not the ignoring of old wounds, but cleansing of them. And you know, in many decks, including some of my mom's paintings. She's a fabulous artist. The star card is always covered in scars, very beautiful, but covered in scars because she is the healer. She doesn't want to ignore the wounds that have happened because she doesn't want them to repeat. And they're her tapestry, they're her story, these scars that she wears. And so even if they're just energetic scars, not just, but there's so much healing that needs to be done. There's so much injustices going on. We've got the Justice card after the Seven of Cups in reverse. And there's so much healing that needs to be done here. And it has to come from the collective's voice. It has to come from a place of the people's voice to not consent to creating even more wounds, even more people that, you know, this might be controversial, but I don't think it would be that hard. If I was living in Syria right now, I don't think it would be that hard, especially with all of the training that these people get to train people, what you call it, contract people, indoctrinate people. If I was watching my family, children being blown to smithereens, if I was watching the dismay of medication not getting in, if I was watching all of that, it wouldn't be that hard, I don't feel, for anybody to convince me, especially if they were going to finance me, to do, you know what I'm saying. And so it's with us accepting these ridiculous wars that aren't even wars for the truth. We haven't even had the truth over Syria. There is proofs. Look at my video about Reuters and the BBC. There is proof, so much proof, that the whole Syria thing has been a big, long setup where real people get hurt. And so they're doing it for reasons that they don't want to tell us about. So they set us up. So actually, we've been given consent, even if they want to believe that we've given consent, we have been given consent under misguidance, under not knowing the full facts. Having trusted people like BBC and Reuters, not that I ever did, but, you know, in general, in the collective. And we need to stop this. We've got to call them out and say, hold on a minute, no, the proof is out there. This should be slamming social media, hour in, hour out, you know, constantly, regarding the fact that we've been there for the longest time, as in people, as in, you know, no doubt the UK is sitting back for a little while, but is definitely got its fingers in the pie of all of this. You know, so to not give our consent and make enough noise about it that they know that we know, that it is the minority that want to pretend they don't know now because we've made such a noise about it regarding the setup, the whole setup, the pre-programming of the whole Syria thing. Is to do with, and it is to do with them defending, they're all trying to defend their positions in not over being worried about what country's going to do to what, but more that just which ones are going to be in power. And it's not just that, it's about maintaining it's about gaining ground. It's about gaining ground, and it's about these tunnels still. Strategic positionings, and these portals that run from Syria that are picked up on through Syria, through the mountains into Iran and Iraq, Israel, not so much Israel, like towards out more to Iran and Iraq way. 5, 6, 7, 7 of Pentacles, you know, trying to gain in the material, to protect the material. What I don't like is that there are certain projects and plans, I feel, with this 7 sitting on this 7 of Cups in reverse. I feel there are certain plans and projects that have already been made, that there are a lot of Israeli people within key cornerstones of the ruling elite within the US. And there are also many Russian factions of such too. It feels like certain deals and talks have been made over this bonding over bombing, I suppose, to work together on this. And I don't want to see this, that people having to be in defense with this 7. So we've got 3 7s now, 7, 7, 7. When certain things start awakening in the US, the feeling of this, the beginning of this true takeover. Now, as far as B and China goes, I feel that for now, the other sides are so arrogant that they feel that they can still, you know, pander to China and give China what they want by giving them a lot of power. But you know, that they aren't the ones to watch just now, because right now China, it seems, is doing the real dirty work, like I've mentioned in previous videos, soul detachment, things like that, experimentation of things like that, using human organs for frequency of, you know, powering up machines. So it feels like they feel in charge and powerful, and that's okay. The other countries are going to pander to that and allow that, because it means they can get done what they can get done and just say China did, you know. And it is and it isn't. It is the case and it isn't the full case at all. We've got the 6 of coins coming up after the 7 of coins. So yeah, there's been this reciprocity, and this feeling of justice coming up, this feeling of, you know, that they've got every right to take lands. And, you know, people might be also compliant to it being right now in Syria, but this feels like a ticking time bomb to lots of little time bombs going off in places like the UK, like the US, where these little sleeper cells wake up. Not just sleeper cells low level, I mean within the structures of the systems that have been in there a long time, paving the way for this rollout of such. So people might not feel quite so happy about the decision about not making very much noise over Syria right now. It feels like for the US that, you know, the reason that they're allowing B, as far as Israel goes, I feel the reason they're allowing B to go on the tangent that he supposedly is, 6, 7, 8. So we've got another 8 now. We've got 2 8s in the Justice card. Yeah, so super amount of discernment is needed, because it feels like the flood, they're allowing B to do what he's doing because it all aids in the breaking down of the US as we know it. It all aids in the flooding, literally flooding of the country. With an accelerated pace today somehow. I said a few readings ago, you know, you want to go to the borders, not to the capital, but you want to go to the borders. And it feels that way, that you know, when are the people and the people who previously protected the borders, when are they going to all come together, and not to be, you know, going out there looking for a fight, but just to say, I'm sorry, no, we don't have faith in our government. We don't have faith in the ability of this government to cognizantly lead this nation. As, let's be real, so should the UK be doing, because, you know, Boris shows about as much competency as my big toe, having been run over by a car. There's all the cowboys at. I've got the Knight of Wands on the bottom of the deck and the Knight of Swords. There's lots going on right now, and the longer that we leave it and don't take action, the more flooding and more different strategic levels are being met, and the more difficult it becomes to unpick. What's with the UK? What's with the UK in particular? Let's try a different deck. So let's recap of that. Plans being made with Russia and Israel regarding the fact of maybe talks over the sharing of the spoils of America, and the feeling that they are justified in doing so. The fools let us in anyway, and it will not be too far before the UK, as we think, is thinking like that regarding the UK government. I meant the UK, there's no, the American government, not the American people, of course. You know, I love you. So for the UK, got the Sun card. Sun card for the UK thus far. What else for the UK? What about the Sun for the UK? The Lovers. So just like the reading that I've just done. So enlightenment on decisions made. Is that past decisions, or is that decisions to come? Okay, Ace of Wands. Certain actions are going to be taken. I feel certain actions regarding the decisions that are made. It does feel like Boris could be in trouble regarding people seeing what decisions were made, what games were played with another six, the Six of Swords, regarding the games that have been played and how they've been played. Oh, Boris. The theft of the money. Look out for information in the UK regarding the embezzlement, laundering and sifting of money for fake arse PPE bills and friends shake handshakes, you know, giving all of his cronies, his friends, the deals, putting everybody else in lack, shutting their businesses down, and giving the spoils to himself and his buddies for stuff that has been scientifically proven to be completely unnecessary, in fact, more harmful than anything else. More truth to come out regarding the strain that they've had everybody chanting, save the NHS, save the NHS, when actually they've been doing that and putting actors of nurses and doctors on news, radio and things like that, when actually there is more coming out, and there already has been quite a bit, but more coming out today regarding the strains that is being put in, particularly on nursing homes, care homes, and the strain that actually the real staff are under. And it feels like more of them have gotten to the point today where they're going to be speaking out regardless of, yes, Boris, the threatening of their job. You want to take their job away from them if they dare to speak out. That has been spoken about, them being paid to in Ireland in particular, but also in the UK too, being paid to put down deaths to a certain, you know, certain game that's been being played, you know, even if it's a car crash, it's been going down as such, you know. Quite a few truths then to come out. 10 of Swords, ouch, you know, wouldn't want to be you, boo. Good, good. So, but be balanced in your emotions, people. Be responsible with your emotions. Don't be fooled by them taking you down in their game as a scapegoat because we are not balanced in our emotions. Magician spells all over the place, but there's not just bad magicians up in here, is there? So no, we've got a chance. We've still got time, but we need to speak and do things quick. As far as the first part of the reading, I hope that gave a more expansive look collectively for people, because the other one felt real personal for some people. As far as, which is okay, I just want to cover other things too. As far as the first reading that I did, this is all part of doing the right thing, following your path, not having your frequency lowered by being in a situation that should have come to an end, following your destiny, and doing that by being connected with self, by spending time with self, by not being afraid of pain, by knowing that you're able to transmute pain and truly being connected to your divinities. And in healing past emotional cords that aren't serving you anymore. I appreciate you all so, so much. I hope that helps you. I hope that guides your day to the highest and best and most abundant potentials and realization of those potentials. Let's be real clear with our words and our intent. And so that you all have the most awesome of surprises today and every day thereafter. Much love, stay balanced and stay whole. Mwah.